Welcome to The Youth Will Always Win. This podcast is here to inspire, challenge, and equip the next generation. Whether you're headed to school, cleaning your room, or navigating the busy moments in between, we'll explore what it means to stand strong in your faith and follow God in today's world. Each episode will dive into real stories, practical advice, and uplifting conversations, reminding you that you're never alone on this journey. So plug in, get ready to be motivated, and always remember, no matter the challenges you face, the youth will always win.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Youth Will Always Win podcast. This is your host, Pastor Connor Pearson, and I'm so glad that you are listening and tuning in with us. Today is a very special day because it is the first episode of our podcast, and we have started this podcast to help equip and disciple the next generation. And so obviously it's special because it's the first episode, but there's two things that make it extra special tonight. One, for our very first episode, we are joined by a live studio audience. Lighthouse Teens, can you make some noise? Come on. They showed out. Man, I will say we did not have 100 people to test out. So if someone's listening, maybe they hear it and it's super, or it's dead quiet when we did that. So I don't know. We'll find out during the real thing. But the other reason, the second reason this episode is so special is because a great friend of mine, Alex DeAnda, is joining us. Make some noise for Alex. How's it going, Alex? You doing good?
Dude, this is awesome.
This is crazy.
This is so cool.
This is so awesome. Well, hey, Alex, just let us know. I know they're excited you're here. Some of them know you from camp, but tell us a little bit about yourself, your life, your ministry, all those great things.
Dude, absolutely. I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I'm on staff at a church there, Assembly of God, First Assembly of God, Fort Wayne. I help out with student ministries there. I have been married for 2 years to my beautiful wife, Abby. I love you. My dog just turned 2 years old. His name is Bennett. And that's a lot. I love to cook. You guys don't need to hear about my hobbies. That's fine.
Okay. Let's turn back off. So Brendan's giving the charger. So today's topic is winning in your school. You know, we live in such a crazy culture, and a culture that is very opposite of the culture and the life that God wants us to live. Yeah. And so I understand, and I know you understand because you work a lot with youth, that that being a middle schooler and high schooler in today's world is far harder than it's ever been before. It can be a challenge to stay committed and focused and staying close to God. And so today I want to, before we have some conversation, I want to dive in your story and what your life looked like in high school. And so my first question for you that I kind of want to start this conversation with is, in middle school and high school, did you consider yourself more of a leader or a follower?
Ooh. Oh, man. Dude, I was not a good kid in middle school and high school. Let me see. I would say that I was a leader, yes, but I wasn't a good leader. I think that I used the influence that I had to just not sow any sort of good things. I think that I was very easy to impress, and I was very easy to manipulate to do pretty much anything. I hardly ever lived by any sort of standard that was like counterculture. Mm-hmm. Anything that left me any sort of uncomfortable, or anything that was putting myself out there, especially when it came to like church and stuff, dude, I was not your guy. I was not the person that everyone was like, dude, that is Alex the Christian. I was not that guy.
So you lived a life that was just pretty comfortable then? Yeah.
Anything that was easy, anything that was comfortable, anything that was go with the flow, or what everyone else was doing is pretty much exactly what I was doing. And I was also trying to help lead others to do that same thing.
Okay, great example for everyone. I'm just kidding.
Not a great high school leader, I would say.
So what is some of that stuff? You're talking about being comfortable. Give us some practical examples, some things you mean on what that looked. What did it mean for you to live a comfortable life?
Sure. I would say for me, it was all of the easy stuff that was easy to fall into. Was always like drinking, just doing drugs, anything that had to do with, having relationships with girls that had no physical boundaries at all. Mm-hmm. Anything like that is pretty much all that I was for. anything, pretty much the opposite of what the Lord says you should live your life. Like I was just, because that's in it of itself. When we're called to be Christians, we're called to be set apart.
Yeah.
And I just did not read that memo, I guess. And
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah, I'll be the Christian part, but I don't want to be the set apart because that means it's going to feel weird. And that means people are going to think of me differently. And at that age, I did not want to be thought of any differently than anyone else. I wanted to kind of blend in with the crowd, and I wanted to be accepted by everyone.
Yeah, and so you say you wanted to be a Christian, or you were kind of a Christian, bouncing back.
Sure.
So I want to ask, because I know you started really coming to church when you were in youth group. What grade were you when you started coming to youth group?
I was a sophomore in high school when I started coming to youth group. There was just some really, really heavy stuff going on with my family and with my parents specifically. And they were just like, hey, we got to do something. We're going to change something around. So we started going to youth group, and that was cool. It was cool to have that group of people that were just so uplifting, and they're so, like, they all had their head on straight, and they were all, going all out for the Lord. But what I found that was my next issue with that was that there was a split personality thing that I would have, where I was definitely 100% a different person on Sunday than I was as soon as I would go back into school on like Monday, Tuesday. I would leave service on Sunday and I'd be like, dude, I am a changed man. Like, devil, I step on your throat, dude. Like, you are a punk, And then I would go to school Monday and I'd be like, guys, I'm not cussing anymore. I'm done with the drinking. I'm done with the smoking. And I make like a big show, and they'd be like, oh gosh, here goes Alex again, dude. And then it would be like Tuesday, Wednesday during school, and I'd be back into it. All of the same stuff. I was just right back into just all of the drinking, the smoking, and the messing around with girls and stuff. But then Wednesday would hit, and I'd have like Wednesday youth group, and then I'd come to school Thursday, and I'm like, guys, I'm a changed man now. No more drinking, no more smoking. I am different. And that rode all the way until Sunday. So it was just a lot of just up and down, and there was no consistency.
Yeah, too bad the song "Monday Morning Faith" wasn't out.
Sorry,
when we were
dude.
in high school.
That would have changed.
It would have changed us.
SE
it would have been
worship,
amazing.
Where were you?
Where were you? We were missing out on it.
I'm sorry.
So you're living this life. You're talking about living a comfortable life, and obviously that's not what you do now. You're changed. You're in ministry. So I want to know, what was the turning point in your life to become a leader who led in the right ways?
Yeah, I would honestly attribute that a lot to the people that we have in our lives, the ones that we put there to hold us accountable, the ones that are just there to hold us accountable, and to call more out of us is 100% the whole reason that I honestly switched up. I would thank my parents for sure. I think they helped me realize something that I think a lot of young people don't realize, is that sometimes you don't recognize the amount of influence you have, or just the potential that you have to lead, until you're using it the wrong way. And you don't recognize it until you're already so deep in that, and you're like, oh shoot, I've been squandering all that the Lord has given me. I have all of this potential to be leading, and I know that, and people keep calling that out in me, but I'm using it in a completely messed up way. I'm using it to further my selfish desires or my benefit. I'm trying to push my own personal stuff onto people and stuff. And so that was a huge struggle. But I would thank my mom, 100% mom. Dad.
Shout out moms.
Yeah, shout out moms. Guys, listen to your moms. They're great.
Sure.
Okay, it's a little bit embarrassing, but there was one time, and I was serving in kids ministry. Shout out. Is anyone in the room serving kids ministry? Shout out one person.
Shout out Dalen.
Shout out Dalen. Shout out Dalen, the only person that got excited. Yeah. Well, you didn't make any noise, so I can't assume that you guys were excited about kids ministry. But I was serving in kids ministry, and I was doing the whole two-face thing, where I was a completely different person on Thursday than I was when I showed up to serve on Sunday. I actually just saw a memory in my photos. It was like, hey, look back on the years, and it was. To give you guys just a picture of where I was in life, it was a picture from within 3 days. It was literally Thursday. It was a picture of me that I had posted of me like smoking weed with my friends. And Sunday, it said like 3 days later, Sunday was me serving at kids' church, like praying over a kid. So that's literally what I was doing. It was that's exactly, I was playing two completely different people, spending all of my time and energy to make sure that this act was impenetrable, that no one knew what the real Alex looked like, right? So I was completely different to both friend groups. But anyways, I was serving in kids' church, and I was dating a girl at the time, and there were no physical boundaries or anything like that. So I actually came home. I remember this because it was after Thanksgiving, and we were putting up the Christmas tree.
Classic.
And I had just gotten back from just like a date with my girlfriend, and I came home, and we were helping put up the Christmas tree, and I was putting the tree topper on the very top of the tree. And as I reached up, the collar of my shirt came down because I was straining myself to reach the top of the tree, and my mom just saw a very obvious hickey on my neck.
Uh-oh.
And dude, oh man,
Your mom was not happy.
Dude, she lost it. She lost, and all of it. It wasn't even like just like it was. A lot of what she was calling out at me wasn't just that she was angry. It was a lot of disappointment because she knew the potential that I had. She knew that there was more to me. She knew that I was serving in kids' church on Sunday and living a completely different lifestyle Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? And so she tells me, one of the first things she said is she was like, you know what? You're done serving. And I was like, whoa, no, you can't do that, because then the whole image crumbles. My whole persona that I put together, that all falls away. You can't do that. And she said, no, it's clear that you have some stuff that you need to take care of in your life before you start trying to lead other people in their walk with Jesus. And
why was your mom preaching?
Dude,
That's so good.
My mom was cooking. She was cooking. And she said, no, you are not ready. You're going to go to Pastor Zach, which is actually Pastor Josh's brother. So PJ's brother, Pastor
Crazy.
Zach.
Worlds collide.
Also bald. So no worries about that.
Don't worry. They like the bald jokes.
Yeah, okay,
so
great.
Just
We'll
so
keep
you
them
know,
coming.
we like the bald
Yeah,
jokes.
so she was like, you're going to go to Pastor Zach, and you're going to tell him exactly why you're not serving in kids' church anymore. And I said, that's not happening. I'm not doing that. So I approached Pastor Zach, and my eyes are squinting from the glare off his bald head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Pastor Zach, I got something to tell you. And I go to tell him, and I just couldn't, because I could not deal with the fact that the persona would fade and that he would have a glimpse of what the real me was. Because church me, school me, very different. So I just told him, hey, there's stuff going on at home and transportation, man. I just can't swing it anymore. I can't serve. And he was like, oh, I mean, that sucks, but, bummer, but we're going to miss you, but totally understand. And that was like the first time that my mom had kind of said something about, hey, there's more in you, and called it out. And I'm grateful for it. But that's one of the instances.
And so that was kind of at that time, it was kind of when your worlds were kind of colliding. This person you pretended to be at school and whatever else, and the person not the person you pretended to be at school, the person you were, and the person you pretended to be at church started to kind of collide and combine.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until after high school, right, that you started kind of leading in the right way.
Yeah.
Like there was never really, oh, hey, there's this great ending, the end of my senior year. I started preaching at my lunch table, and my whole school got saved during an altar call. But
yeah, the school stuff never quite happened, but there was another time where my mom called me out, and that was at the end of my senior year, which this hickey story had taken place in November, end of November, early December of my senior year, and it had just been 6 to 8 months of just not living right. I had turned complete 180 from the Lord. And so there was just a lot of heartache going on in me. There was a lot of just confusion. There was a lot of just bitterness. I hated going to church. I hated hanging out with people. Anything that had to do with church and the Lord, I had just completely turned away from it. And that was a lot of just the people I was surrounding myself with. They weren't necessarily all for that. So I didn't want to go against the flow. So I just went with it. But it was like April or May of my senior year. And I walk into my kitchen, and I'm just annoyed because, I'm just a teen and no one understands me. And I walk into my kitchen to go get a snack and go back up to my room where I'll spend the next 8 hours without talking to anyone.
I'm sure no one in here does that.
No one. You guys all talk to your parents all the time about everything, right? Yep. Everyone.
Cue cricket sound effect.
We'll edit that in. But my parents cornered me in the kitchen, and they were like, "Hey, we need to talk to you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't do another one of these. What do you guys want?" And they were like, "Hey."
You were pretty angsty then.
I was angsty, dude. I was angsty. It was the music I was listening to, everything that I was listening, literally everything in my life was just this ball of angst. I was just an misunderstood teen in the highest form of the meaning. But I was in the kitchen, and my parents cornered me. They said, "Hey, we need to talk to you." And I was like, "What do you guys want?" And they said, "Hey, for the past 6 months, Alex, mijo, you have been just awful to us." They didn't come at me angry. They didn't come at me just boom, 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 boom. They came at me from a place of like hurt, and it crushed me. My parents sat there and they said, hey, you don't talk to us. You don't eat dinner with us anymore. You don't want to do anything with us. Anytime we're going to go out as a family, you say, no, I'm going to stay home. I don't want to spend time with you guys. Anytime we try to like joke with you, you just shut us out. You stay in your room all day long. You want nothing to do with us. And we're just wondering why that is. And we're just letting you know that you've just been really, really awful to us. You've been mean to your siblings. You haven't been like doing your part around the house. You do chores like halfway. You know, it looks like you don't care. It seems like you don't care. So what's going on? Because this isn't you. This isn't our son. We know our son to be compassionate. We know our son to be respectful. We know our son to be loving and to want to connect to people. But you've been just all of the opposite. And I didn't have a response. I was floored. I was just, okay, fine. You know, I was so just distraught by it. And I got out of the conversation. I went to my room, and again, this was like the end of my senior year, and I was just sitting there, just absolutely, like the weight of all of my past 6-8 months of just bad decisions was just weighing so heavy on me. And it was in that moment I said, oh my gosh, there's something wrong. I finally got to look at like who I was and who I'd become, and all of the stuff that I had been participating in, and all of just the opposite direction that I was going in, despite all of the momentum that I had come from my sophomore year when I started going to church. Mm-hmm. And I was just grossed out. I just didn't like who I had become, and I was so embarrassed, and I didn't know what to do. And so in that moment I said, okay, it's got to be Jesus, because it's not me. Yeah. It's clear that when I'm on my own and I'm trying to do things my way and participate in all the things that I want to do, it's not getting the job done, and it's not giving me any sense of fulfillment at all. So like what you said, it was till like after my senior year, like end of my senior year, till I went to camp, shout out Lake Placid, till I went to camp that year. And that's kind of when everything finally started clicking into place. And I started recognizing, oh, I've got to do something with this leadership potential. I got to do something. Otherwise, like, no, I'm squandering it now. So something's got to give.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's incredible, Alex. Just to hear your story and how encouraging that can be just in the place that you were able to get your life. Something that I want to talk about kind of just for a few moments is charisma and character. We get the two combined, we mix it up, we do one or another. So I know that you feel the same. We've talked about this before. Yeah. So Alex, shed some light on the difference and really what charisma and character, what you've been learning about that in your life.
Yeah. No, I started learning this as soon as I got to IMC, the school that I went to, which we actually went to school together. So the school that I went to is when I started, all of this started really just blowing my mind, because I had spent my entire Christian life doing all of the right things and not just falling more in love with Jesus each and every day and allowing the right things to just happen naturally in my life, right? Yeah. In my spirit, in my heart, in my mind, all of the stuff. So I think that something that Pastor Nathan Joris told me when I was a first year in IMC, and I was talking about my leadership potential, and he was talking to me about, this is what I see in you. I want to see this grow. One of the things that he said to me was, Alex, your charisma will only take you as far as your character allows. Meaning you can only fake it so far before what's in your heart is really going to be what's coming to light and what's on display for everyone, right? And so it floored me, because my entire Christian life had been based off of behavior modification. Modifying my behavior, right? Just doing all of the right things. And it wasn't focused on just genuine heart change, genuine shifting, getting all of the bad stuff out and the good stuff in, right? Choosing Jesus and watching all of the stuff just kind of shrivel away and the good stuff kind of grow in me. And so I think that, I was so focused on, okay, I'm not watching things I'm not supposed to be watching. I'm not cussing. I'm listening to the right music. I am obeying my parents. I am, doing all of the right things, but there was no depth in my relationship with Jesus. And I feel like that's what we can do a lot of the time is have all of the right things in place. And then we're like, whoa, but where's this relationship with Jesus? It's not there. And that's because we're just doing the right things and not just focusing all of that time and energy on following the Lord and falling more in love with him each and every day. And then all of that stuff just naturally happens.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the thing I got stuck on is just thinking Christianity was how perfect can I live my life? How far can I go and do what the Bible says? And of course you want to do what the Bible says. But my problem is that I was always focused on what the Bible told me I couldn't do and who I couldn't be rather than who God wanted me to become. And so behavior modification and modifying your behavior, that's great. But at the end of the day, if that's all you do, what does that leave? You're a good person. Which is a great thing. It's good to be a good person. Sure. But the moment I stopped, okay, I'm going to stop trying to do all these things to make my parents happy or my friends happy or my youth pastor happy or whatever it is. And I'm just going to worry about trying to be like Jesus.
Come on.
Because when I started to do that, when I started to care to be like Jesus, well, then that's when those sins and that's when those things that were causing me to be a follower naturally started to go away.
Yeah.
And now I wasn't left just doing that to be a good person. I was doing it because I was becoming more like Christ. And I think something we are terrible at in the Christian world a lot of times is just our character and our representation of Christ, especially for young people in their schools. I went and got a haircut super late last night. It was like 9 o'clock.
Early.
And I'm talking, 9 p.m. And I'm talking to this guy, and we're having this great conversation about church. And I'm just asking him, hey, do you believe in God? And all of these types of things. And he ends up telling me, you know what, I go to church about 2 times a year when my grandma wants us to come on Easter and Mother's Day. And I ask him, okay, so why don't you come to church more? What's the reason for that? Is there a good reason? And he said, can I be real with you? And I said, yeah. And he said, I have at the time, it was his 2-year-old son. And he was there at church. His son was on the tablet and playing the game or whatever. And the son's tablet died. Rest in peace, the tablet.
Not the leapfrog, dude.
Yeah. Sorry
kid.
to the leapfrog. And so his kid started crying as a 2-year-old would. And the pastor stopped his sermon. He stepped down off the platform and said, whoever's baby crying, you need to get it to shut up right now.
This was PJ that said that?
No.
I'm joking.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm kidding.
No, I don't know what church it was. But so that happened, and he said, I got up instantly that moment. I turned the music up in my car, and I sped off, and I was completely done. And I don't want to come back to church. And we ended up having a great conversation and got to pray. But it left me wondering, I wonder, because of my selfishness and fake character in my life at times, how many people I've misrepresented Jesus to.
Yeah.
How many people in my life that don't have a good view of Jesus because of what I've done, the way that I've lived my life. Yeah. Because, and for anyone listening, and especially if you're in middle school or high school, your friends are watching you. Your friends that you post on social media that you're going to church and all of that stuff, that is so great. That is so awesome. But when they see you live as a different person, nobody likes to have someone in their life that's fake.
Yep.
And so when someone comes and sees that us as Christians, we're acting one way at church but different at school, and we're just being fake, that is going to do nothing but push people away from Jesus.
100%.
Alex, I want to know from you, if you could go back and do high school again, which
no, I'm good.
I am all good.
I am good off that. No,
passing that. But I'm not saying if you could, you would. If you had to go back and do high school again, all over, I want to know, with you knowing where you're at now and the place you're at spiritually, just real quick, what is something you would have done differently?
I gotta go. I have to go with the people I surrounded myself with, and this is nothing against the people that I chose, like the friend group that I had, because they were just living their life, and it was on me to be set apart and live differently, right? But I chose to surround myself with people that did not live the same lifestyle as me, that did not agree to the same things, that did not believe the same things. So there was no mandate for them. There was no standard to live by necessarily, other than whatever personal standard they had in their own lives. Whereas if I would have just surrounded myself with people that were believers, with people that I knew, like I know now in my life, when I talk to Connor about stuff, right? When I talk to Nathan about stuff, when I talk to my brothers that I have around me, I know that at the end of the day, they are striving each and every day to be more like Jesus. Yeah. They're striving each and every day to get to know him, to fall more in love with him, to get in the word, to pray, to worship, to do all of the things, to be more like Christ each and every day. And if I would have just surrounded myself back then with all of those types of people and people that I knew would have had my back and would have been praying for me, and the people that I could have been, I would have also just been real. If I could have just been real with people and also surrounded myself with the right people, I know that there would have just been so much heartache just spared, right? Because I would have been making better decisions. I would have had better people that I was positioning myself around. There would have been a different culture going on in my heart. I guarantee there would have been a lot more desire to do things that were pleasing to the Lord, just because it's who I surround myself with. The age-old, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Like that was, it's real. The people that are around you, they influence you and they pour into you and they rub off on you. And I was just surrounding myself with the type of people that just weren't leading me anywhere that I wanted to be, that I should have wanted to be, I guess.
Yeah, and I think for me, my biggest regret, and if I could go back and do high school differently, would be telling other friends about Jesus. The moments I would invite a friend to church, it would be awesome. There were youth events, and we were pulling up 10 deep to youth events, and it was great, and it was awesome. But that's when I actually had the courage and the willingness and the passion to invite someone to church. I think about a doctor who has a cure for some disease that is killing tons of people, and he doesn't tell anyone about the cure. He keeps it to himself. What will we say about that person? We would say that they're selfish, that they're not genuine, that they don't love other people. Right. And I think the same can be said as us as Christians. We have a cure. We know what the world, the problems in our world, we know the solution to it. We know the cure, yet some of us were living so selfish, so just not caring for other people or loving other people that we are shying away from telling other people about Jesus. Yeah. I know, and it's not anyone's, it's not my fault, and I'm not responsible for anyone else's relationship with God but my own, but I wonder how many seeds that would have been planted and harvested by now if I would have just been a little more bold in high school. Yeah. There are some friends that I have that are hooked up on drugs that I had in high school. There are some friends I have that are in prison right now. And I don't take sole responsibility for that, but I know that I never invited them to Jesus. Yeah. I know to meet Jesus. I never invited them to my lunch table. And I know that if I would have done that, I really would have saw a win at my school. Alex, to close out our podcast today, I thought it would be a little fun to do 10 quick rapid-fire questions. Okay. They're going to be very quick. Okay. I don't have a timer, but we're going to pretend one's going, and I need you to answer them as quick and possible, as fast as you can.
I'm locked in. I'm here.
So they're on your paper, but don't look at them. Don't look at them. Well, it's on the back side, so don't flip to the back side.
I'm not even going to flip it. I'm not even going to flip it.
All right, you ready?
This is off the dome.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Favorite restaurant?
Jimmy John's.
Okay, that answer is terrible.
Oh, no
I'm
way.
So sorry.
No way.
Make some noise if you think that answer is terrible.
You know what? Guys.
Hey, we have free smells. Wow, that's so awesome.
Okay.
All right, so
guys.
cool.
You know
I love smelling bread and pepperoni. Thanks, man.
Okay.
It's terrible. So, favorite restaurant, Jimmy John's.
I'm
so sorry.
It was off the top.
Okay.
Dude,
favorite restaurant.
We'll say it. Jimmy John's. This is fine. Keep it.
Favorite worship song.
Right now, I'd say Another One.
I like when Brendan sings that. Oh.
Does he actually?
Miracle.
I've never heard him sing that.
Oh, it's so good.
Send me a stream. Send me a stream
yes.
link.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes. That's good.
Okay.
I wanted to be a chef when I was in high school. The acidity balances all of the stuff.
Nerd.
And the fat. Okay, you know what? It's a good thing. I would keep it on my pizza 100%.
That's why they have fruit pizza. Anyway, favorite Bible character?
Nehemiah.
Okay. Best ice cream flavor?
Lamorio. There's a place over by my house. It's lemon ice cream with bits of Oreo.
Oh, we went there.
It's fire.
It is fire.
It's fire. I'm telling you, Lamorio.
Okay, best ice cream flavor. Favorite snack?
Airheads Extreme Bites.
Okay. I feel like they're getting so excited for this. All right. Favorite superhero?
Oh, man. I'll say Spider-Man Miles Morales.
All right. Shout out Merrick. Shout out Merrick.
Right now, Miles Morales is in his bag right now, dude.
Hey, Jesus is my favorite. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Bible man.
Nah, Tom Holland's pretty cool. Anyway, okay. Comedy or action movies?
Action.
Okay, and what is the GOAT? Oh, I got two more. I said it like it was the last.
Okay.
What is the GOAT armor of God piece? The best.
Go. Okay, well, the best is I'd say I'll just go with my personal favorite. How about I'll say shoes a piece.
Okay, shoes a piece.
I'll
Like
say
it.
shoes a piece.
And lastly, what is your favorite Christian movie?
Anything that's not a God's Not Dead movie is my favorite Christian movie. I would say.
There's only like 15 of them.
Yeah,
man. That's it. So.
They're on what 11 right now. I can't even
Who knows?
keep track.
It's
dude.
like 11. It's like Lion King, like 2.5 and stuff. Yeah. So
okay,
anyway,
okay.
Hey, Alex, we want to thank you so much for being on our podcast. If you're listening to us, thank you for tuning in to our first episode of The Youth Will Always Win. Again, we want to encourage and inspire the next generation. We believe in you. We believe you can do great things. And so this is Pastor Connor and Alex, and we will see you next time on The Youth Will Always Win.
All right.